Welcome back to the Terre Haute mayoral debate. We now want to talk about collaboration. Our next question is one that was submitted to us by one of our viewers. Alan H. asks, what is your plan to ensure the city can host multiple large events at the same time so we can avoid the ISU Super Regional Baseball Tournament withdrawal situation? Mr. Sackbun, we'll start with you. You have 60 seconds.
Absolutely. I think it starts by reinvigorating our relationship with Indiana State. There's a lot of personalities at play here. We've got to be working with Indiana State because they will be a pivotal cornerstone in growing the city of Terre Haute. The fact that that decision was made unilaterally without consulting county and city government clearly shows that relationship isn't quite as strong as it should be. Some different concrete steps that we can take is obviously looking at hotel space, obviously looking at rides to and from the city, what busing can be available, what restaurants are available. But at the end of the day, when it comes to collaboration, because everyone loves to use it, it's over and over and over again in the paper, ask yourself this: what working relationships do we have with Indiana State that we need to get better at? You've got to get meeting with them. You've got to get working with them. We've got to get these students integrated into our community with the hopes that maybe they stay.
And Mr. Bennett, you have 60 seconds.
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with Indiana State University and have regular meetings. I've had 2 in the last week with the president and with the homecoming committee, working on a variety of things. You know, from the city's perspective, this event should have happened. You know, I attended Missouri Valley Tournament and the NCAA Regional. I went to all the games. It's disappointing that they didn't host that tournament. That was a decision made internally with ISU, and that's their call. I have every right to do that. We could have delivered as a community to provide a lot of different things to make that happen. But in hindsight, it's easy to say that. I'm hopeful that in the future that won't happen again, and we can bring a lot of things to the table. The Convention and Tourism Bureau stepped up. There were enough hotel rooms. It was just a situation that they decided they didn't want to pursue that. You know, it always takes, this community is going to see that happen more and more often. So we all have to be ready for that. Whether you're a not-for-profit, you're a government entity, you're a private business, we have to be prepared for these things.
All right, we're going to move on to another question, a follow-up question regarding collaboration, not just when it comes, though, to hosting events, but also when it comes to regional interest. How would you partner with the county, even other cities, to create regional buy-in for projects and initiatives? Mayor, we begin with you. You have 60 seconds.
You know, we've got our West Central Planning Committee that's been meeting for many years now. It drove the READY process as the READY funds, READY 1 came to, the $20 million came to our region. We've continued to meet about what we're going to do for READY 2 because those funds have to be available to all the counties surrounding us. You know, regional planning is always difficult because some of the smaller communities and smaller counties don't have the resources or the staff to commit a lot of time to that, but they want to be at the table. And so other mayors, other council members, they've all participated in this over the years. And so I think we've made a lot of progress. Have we made enough? Probably not. But we were very successful, and I would have liked to have been a little bit more successful financially with the READY 1, but I think we're going to be extremely successful with READY 2 because of those regional partnerships and relationships and collaboration that we've put on the table. That's the way the state funds you. If you don't collaborate with your regional partners, you're not going to get funding.
And Mr. Sackbun, you have 60 seconds.
Yes, we absolutely need to increase the amount that we are collaborating at the regional level. When you look across the state, there are other regions that have done just a better job than us, and that's okay to say, but how do we improve that? Well, currently Indiana State and Ivy Tech are launching their West Central Indiana Child Care Study, which is a shining example of what we need more of, is tackling these problems as a region when it comes to child care, when it comes to transportation, workforce development, and economic development. I want Terre Haute, Indiana to be the growth leader in our region. I want us to stand out, and I want us to lead from the front. That comes with a clear vision and consistent communication with the cities and counties around us.
And we have a question regarding public safety. It is, what is your vision for the partnership between the mayor and the Terre Haute Police and Fire Departments? Mr. Sackbun, we begin with you, and you have 60 seconds.
Yes, my vision is to allow law enforcement to enforce the laws. I'm not a police officer, I'm not a firefighter, but setting them up for success with the right training, the right manpower and womanpower, and the right equipment. I also look at their recruitment. if any place where I'll be incredibly involved, it is incentivizing and pushing them to recruit more. I get a little bit concerned looking at the average age of some of our city departments, not including public safety. Why? Because if we're not creating a pipeline of new Hautians, of new generations getting involved with municipal government, getting involved with public safety, we are kind of steering towards a cliff that we might fall off of if we don't recruit better. It starts early, it starts younger. Right now in the private sector, companies across the United States are recruiting your sons and daughters from the time they leave high school, sometimes even before that. We've got to get that standard in, even with public safety.
All right, and Mayor Bennett, you have 60 seconds.
Public safety has been #1 from the first day I took office. We've made huge investments there. 80% of our general fund goes to public safety. All new equipment. We've turned over all the fire department equipment twice since I've been mayor. We recently purchased 104 police cars, all within our budget, to be able to give them the tools and things they need. We've purchased handguns twice. We're getting ready to go to their second round of tasers, brand new radios 2 different times. We've spent $3 million on the technology they need to be able to do their job. We've increased their pay by 39% since I've been mayor, both our policemen and firemen. So we're investing in public safety. That's the most critical thing as the mayor that you do, is to keep the community safe, and our record stands for itself. It's been a tremendous run. We're going to continue to make those investments. We're going to give them every tool they need to keep all of our community safe and take care of them on a daily basis.
And we want to turn now to another topic that's top of mind for a lot of people, housing. Our first question on the topic: what do you consider to be the biggest housing need in the city? Mr. Bennett, we'll start with you. You have 60 seconds.
The biggest need is single-family homes, anywhere from 125,000, 150,000 up to about 350,000. A recent study was just completed in an inventory of Vigo County of what we're deficient in, from single apartments to larger homes. We know exactly what we need. We're going to need to build about 2,000 homes in the city of Terre Haute in the next 4 to 5 years using some of these READY funds and our ARPA funds. So Thrive West Central is who we've elected to. We've contracted with them to do that study. We brought in a professional person to look at this for us to make sure we're looking at good data. We have to have a little bit of everything. We really do. We have to have new apartments, both on subsidized apartments and upscale apartments, and then homes that are affordable to people, and homes to meet the needs of the people that are moving into our community to take these better paying jobs. So housing is a problem. We have an old housing stock, and it's got to be replaced. We've got a great plan in place to make that happen.
And Mr. Sackman, you have 60 seconds.
We have neglected the housing problem in the city of Terre Haute for far too long. The current plan, thankfully funded by the American Rescue Plan Act, is going to start some solutions after years of neglect. Now, my biggest concern is homes 100,000 to 200,000, but more specifically, a bigger concern that I have is incentivizing and getting our local builders to take a full stab at this problem. I want local builders to help me rebuild the city of Terre Haute, the vacant lots, the blight housing, the condemned properties. We've got to rebuild our city with local laborers, with local builders, and with construction management majors right now over here at Indiana State University. The biggest need is 100,000 to 200,000 in my mind, and I think every single pay scale does need a little bit of work. But if we cater to $350,000 and $400,000 homes, all we're going to do is price out the folks who live here right now in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Mr. Bennett, you have 30 seconds.
We're not catering to that group of homes. That's the demand is out there. People are looking for those homes as we speak. We've got people, of course, interest rates have gone up and building costs have gone up, but it's not the government's job to build houses. Our job is to facilitate and take care of with infrastructure, and that's what these funds are going to be used for, to help builders be able to build a house that they can sell and make their 10% profit, and it's still something that the locals can afford. And so we're following a model that works.
And Mr. Sackman, a 30-second response.
No one's saying the government should build your houses. We'll leave that to the builders. But the model that works is providing micro grants for those infrastructure costs, ranging from $10,000 to $15,000, depending on how many homes a builder purchases. There's a model that's called infill housing that's worked in cities like Kokomo, South Bend, and even Sullivan. Again, all 3 different in population sizes. we are following a plan that Thrive has released. I'm saying we need to add more to that plan from a city's perspective to rebuild homes within the city limits of Terre Haute.
And Mr. Bennett, a final 30-second response.
You know, we've not had the funding to be able to do this. The first part of the study is funded by READY, not by ARPA. But now we're going to commit ARPA funds to be able to get these homes built. And hopefully in the future, READY, because ARPA will be gone eventually here, we're going to have to sustain this for the long haul. Getting a couple thousand homes built in the next 5 years would be tremendous if we can pull that off. But we have to sustain this beyond that. So I think we can do that. The plan is strong, and next week we'll begin to roll that out.
And this next topic was just touched on briefly, but it is of great interest to our viewers. We are talking about blighted homes, those homes that are blighted and abandoned and no one wants in their neighborhood. In fact, several viewers had questions about this. So here is our question. So if elected, how do you propose the city address the ongoing issue of blighted and abandoned properties? We start with you, Mr. Sackbun, 60 seconds.
When it comes to the hundreds of blighted and abandoned homes right here in our city, when it comes to the property owners who don't live here and create what I call a vampire-based economy, sucking our local Hautians' dollars, here's what we need to do. We need to enforce our code, we need to add to building inspection, and we need to take these homes and get them to the private sector to rebuild. My housing plan is focused on $10,000 to $15,000 grants to help incentivize this process so long as these builders rebuild the homes within 12 to 18 months. This is a proven plan that has worked in communities across the Midwest. It can be financed through city government and add to what Thrive is doing, and it's sustainable. These are the steps that we have to take to rebuild our city before all these jobs come in. Everyone's talking about planning and jobs and planning and jobs, but we've got to get the infrastructure and housing done first before these new Hautian residents move here.
And Mayor Bennett, you now have 60 seconds.
So I think it's really important to keep in mind that the city doesn't own these homes. We condemn them, and then we step out of the way and let the legal process take its course. You know, you can write a ticket for somebody who's not maintaining a house and they won't pay the bill. So that's just the way the system works. Since I've been mayor, we've torn down over 900 homes. There's going to be another 100 going down by the end of this year, for this year. So we're tearing them down, but you can't rebuild a new house on the empty existing lots. You have to have 2 lots because of state building code. So it's not as easy just to say we're going to go build a house. It has to be a house that a builder can make a profit off of, has to be a house that can be sold in that neighborhood and somebody can get a mortgage for. So that's happened. You know, we built 40 houses between 2019 and 2020 in the inner city. And they're all occupied right now, working with the Housing Authority and working with Habitat. So it has happened, and considering we haven't had a lot of revenue to be able to make that happen, but now we've got these empty lots and we have to put 2 together to be able to put a house on it. So I think that, you know, this is a problem everywhere. Out of time.
All right, we'll stay.
If I might do a rebuttal there on that one.
30 seconds, Mr.
Yes,
Sackbun.
absolutely. When it comes to 900 homes in 16 years, it pales in comparison to other initiatives mayors in our state have started. One in South Bend, Pete Buttigieg did 1,000 homes in 1,000 days. Folks, we got to understand that every vacant lot is a house not paying property tax. Again, way back to the property tax caps that have been previously mentioned time and time again that's hampering our city. This is why I add so much emphasis to rebuilding our vacant lots and rebuilding the neighborhoods of Terre Haute, Indiana.
And Mayor Bennett, you get 30 seconds to respond.
You know, some of those properties are still paying property taxes. Some of them aren't. Some of them are in foreclosure. There's a variety of reasons why they're not on the tax rolls. And they wouldn't be paying much anyway. I know many of these homes pay 0 property tax anyway. They have all the exemptions and they pay 0. And so we've got to replace them with newer homes. That's the key, is raising the assessed value in our community by having new homes. Remodeling old ones is helpful. Last year, I think almost 40 came off the list that were condemned.
All right, and Mr. Sackbun, you get a final 30 seconds on this question.
Having traveled the state, having traveled the nation, I still find it hard to believe that the city of Terre Haute only built 40 new homes in the inner city over the last several years. That's a number that we've got to increase. Thank you.
Well, stay right there. We'll talk quality of life in Terre Haute, and we'll hear how the candidates would lead the city. That's all up next.